This conference will now be recorded.
Welcome, everyone. This is the August 26th, 2020 meeting of the HeatSmart Kingston Commission. I'd like to call the meeting to order. It is now 5:18 p.m. My name is Julie Noble, and I'm the chair and also the sustainability coordinator for the city of Kingston. And also on the call today with us, commission members, we have Betta Broad, John Wackman, Melissa Iacchetta, Serena Pepper, Kevin McAvoy, and Cal Truman. And we also have a guest, Eliza Edge. Please make sure that you keep yourself muted if you're not speaking, especially if you have background information, background sound. We're going to proceed with the call. So Eliza, do you have any public comment for the record?
No thanks.
Great, thanks for being here, and certainly you're welcome to participate in the dialogue as we proceed. Are there any modifications to the agenda? Okay, hearing none, we'll move on. Kevin, just for the record, I just wanted to let you know that Jessica and Maya are excused. I haven't heard from Karen.
Okay.
I guess I should ask, the draft letter that I sent for us to forward to the Gardner Climate Smart Task Force, is there a place for that in the agenda?
Not currently. We can add it under old business.
Yes, please.
Does anyone have any issue with that? Okay, we'll add that as M. Okay. Review and approval of the July meeting minutes. I saw that John sent over some modifications, some verbiage under announcements from the last one. Did you get those, Kevin?
Let me look. If I didn't, we'll get to it. We'll take care of whatever has to be done.
Okay.
Karen,
did that come with the Gardner letter, or was that sent separately?
Correct.
Gardner letter.
Okay, I have that then. Okay, yeah.
Okay. Any other changes or concerns besides that? If not, we need a motion to accept the July minutes as amended.
So moved.
Was that Karen?
Second.
Hello.
Karen, hey, Karen.
Karen's here.
Betta seconded. All in favor?
Okay, Karen and Betta. Okay, got it.
All in favor, can I see a thumbs up?
Can I abstain since I wasn't there?
Yep. And Serena, are you giving me a thumbs up? Serena. Thumbs up?
I am.
Perfect, thank you. Okay, thank you very much, everyone. That was one abstention and everyone else voted yay. Thank you, Kevin, for putting those together. Old business, 2020 Climate Action Plan update. I am still waiting on Novo Foundation to sign off on the contract with Cadmus. However, we have had a meeting with Citizens for Local Power to start talking about what our kickoff meeting is going to look like. And I'm sorry, not with all of Citizens for Local Power, just with Susan Gillespie, to talk about what our kickoff meeting will look like, and to reaffirm the role that they will play, which we confirm is going to be more streamlined towards energy, which is their strong suit, and the work that they've been working on. My intent is that the moment I hear from Novo that it is a go, I'm going to set a kickoff meeting internally with Cadmus to understand where we're going and if we need to modify the timeline, which I presume we're going to. Originally, until now, we've been operating with the timeline being that we would have a release of our next climate action plan by April. That was the plan when we thought it was going to be a year-long process, which would have started in May. We're now in September, August. So I'm presuming that will modify, but I'm not sure 100%. And it's likely that we're going to have a kickoff meeting for the public sometime in September. And our next step after my project kickoff meeting is going to be pulling together prior to that public meeting, a project advisory committee. So I'm working internally with city staff and also with Novo and Susan to build the list of the project advisory committee. If there's anyone in here in particular that is enthusiastically or semi-enthusiastically interested in being a part of the Climate Action Plan 2.0 plan team for the next year, reach out to me separately, or if you have any recommendations. I don't have a minimum or maximum limit, but I would love everyone coming to the table to feel like they're engaged and to play a role in making this thing move forward. So I look forward to that. I am waiting anxiously for those things to finalize. I understand that everything takes longer these days. And I'm certainly not sitting around twiddling my thumbs waiting, but there are, we want to get moving on that for sure. So I see that Dan is not here, so I'm not sure anyone has an update on refrigerants. And so we will table that. Sustainability projects, I will give you an update. So I don't remember where we were last month. I think that we were, I don't think LED had restarted, or if it had, maybe it had just at that time. Since then, they restarted and then were 4 days later called off the job to go and respond to storm damage on the coast. So we lost them for a couple weeks actually. And as of the 20th of this month, so about a month, they have resumed again. So you will see the D&M crews out on the street. They're back working on LED retrofitting again. I'm happy to have them back. I fully understand storm recovery, so I appreciate them responding there, and I'm very, very much happy that they're back here working in the city. So I'm sure that will happen pretty swiftly, and we're all excited for that to keep it advancing. With the organics management plan, the last action that we had was a presentation to the Department of Public Works. So Carla Castillo had a many-hour presentation to DPW, which is a critical component of the success of any organics plan. This was a sort of pre-final presentation in which it was, this is where we are so far with the data. This is where we are so far with the analysis. Can I get your final input on these logistics and how this may or may not work? What you think of this? How can I best represent what we do moving forward, whether with a pilot or otherwise? So that was very informative. Some final data gathering in terms of, manpower hours, site reviews of different site locations. Carla has been going to different facilities to understand their organics management processes, and she's also, I guess she attended the Recycling Oversight Committee meeting this past week as well. So things there are starting to pull together. This project is going to continue to go into the fall.
Julie, did you say that her presentation was multiple hours?
Yes, 3.
Yeah. And what's the general, can you say what the general receptiveness is to this on the part of, well, specifically DPW?
So,
and I'm sorry, before you do that, who exactly was she presenting to?
Department of Public Works. She was presenting to the Department of Public Works Superintendent Ed Norman and to the Deputy Superintendent Ryan Cook.
Okay, thanks.
So they have been kept abreast of the process for the last couple of years because I've been working in that office for a year and a half. So they've been involved in some of it. I would say their reception is what I would expect, which is they respect the fact that 2 years worth of data speaks for itself, but they also are cautious and mindful of the current fiscal situation within the city, and they are We are all in the middle of putting together our budgets for 2021, in which I think I mentioned the last time, we've all been asked to cut pretty drastically. So it is challenging, at the least, to think about adding another anything at a time when we are not actually able to maintain the services we currently have. So a lot of the discussion with Carlo was, how can we get to adding in organics with the same manpower that we have now and the same equipment we have now? Is there a way to divert enough and offset not having to collect trash so that instead we're collecting organics? And what do we need to do to get to that? Where can there be shared services? What grants are available? You know, what facilities can we use? What can we use that's already existing? What can we reassign that's already existing? It's been very clear that it's not going to be easy or possible really to add on any more staff or, you know, invest an incredible amount of money right now into anything. So we're still moving forward with processing that and trying to understand with our existing equipment, what are the retrofit options? With our existing staff, what are the reassignment options? So all of that is in consideration.
Well, it's really impressive though that it has reached this stage of, you know, that level of specificity. When you're talking about those aspects, I mean, that's getting real, right? That's getting really real.
We talk about specific packer numbers and specific people's job titles and specific routes. It's very specific. This is a to the nuts and bolts analysis.
And I don't remember, is there any other city in the state doing this?
Scarsdale, not easily comparable to Kingston.
No way.
Julie, I have a question.
Go ahead.
There's a lot of motivation for a lot of homeowners to environmentally soundly dispose of organic material without putting it in the garbage. And it seems like the time is right for private enterprise, perhaps. I would pay, because I'm fortunate to have a job and income, and I know other people would. I just wonder if that's an avenue to explore, at least on a mini level.
Yeah, so a few things on that. You're not alone. There are many commercial operations for sure in the city that use private enterprises. So Community Compost has a packer that they drive through town with an automatic lift on the back. You'll see it around town. It looks like a little garbage truck with a little tote lifter on the back. And they go to restaurants right across the street from my office here and many others.
I don't think they do private homes.
I don't think they do residential, but I will say that, you know, again, you're still not alone. So we are looking at the gamut of options from full curbside. You know, we're looking at, we curbside collect and we bring it somewhere. We curbside collect and we manage it. We have you bring it to the transfer station and drop it off, and then we bring it somewhere else. We have you bring it to the transfer station and drop it off, and then we manage it. All the different combinations of things, piloting, full mandatory is not really an option. You know, opt-in certain areas, you know, pay into it. We offer it for free. Like, we're looking at all these options. We know that there are people, and I'm just saying this about the commercial. There are commercial businesses willing, even though they currently get free collection from the city, they are willing to pay Community Compost and others to come in and take their trash or their food waste. So we know there are willing residents and businesses in this community that will pay for that service. We know that's the fact. Our survey has said the same thing, but we also know that there are people on the other end of the spectrum that are saying, no, never, not unless it's mandatory. So all of this is being taken into consideration, and who knows how the cards will lie, and no matter how the cards will lie, it'll all be data driven, and then we'll have to make some hard decisions after that. And to John's point, it would frankly be easier if we weren't paving the way here. If there were other communities in the whole state, let alone in the Hudson Valley, let alone in the Hudson River Valley, that were doing this, so we could say, hey, X is also doing it. They figured it out. It's not easy for me to say, dear DPW, Scarsdale is doing it. We can't compare to Scarsdale at all. Except that we're both in New York and we're all human. So there's a lot of factors, and it is a challenging time. Without a mandatory, law, it's going to count on a lot of people wanting to do the right thing, or the numbers coming in on our behalf. And I'm not sure that's going to happen. And that's the risk that we knew with this study. We went into this knowing it either might come out that it works out, or it comes out that it doesn't work out. And, it'll be up to the administration to say, thanks for the data, this is what we want to do. Or it'll be up to the demand of the community, but at least we'll have the data.
I was just gonna add that for anybody who wants the compost that's willing to pay, the Kingston Farmers Market has a drop-off program. No one does it, but they have a bin that has like a lockbox, and when you pay a service fee, they give you the code, and then once a week you can go and drop your stuff off. It's small scale, once a week at the farmers market, but
Good.
Melissa, where is that located? The lockbox.
farmers market right now, it's outdoors, so it's in the bank parking, next door to the bank parking lot, and like behind Marissa's in Uptown.
Ulster County Courthouse.
Ulster County Courthouse parking lot. And then they're going back and forth on whether they're going to move indoors for winter or try until snow to keep it outdoors. But they have a website and an email list if you have any questions about that.
Thanks, Melissa.
What's the website, Melissa?
What?
What's the website you said?
Just type in Kingston Farmers Market in Google. It's not the one on the roundout because there's two now. The one on
they have
Saturdays.
information on that.
Yeah.
On Saturdays. Okay, cool. That's good to know. I didn't realize they were doing that.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say that I don't know if anyone else watched the Climate Action Council live stream on Monday, but the state had their Climate Action Council meeting. This was, I think, the second meeting maybe they've had, and they did announce that they're creating a new group that's going to be specific, like a new advisory group to specifically focus on waste. Which I think, is promising because clearly, it is a priority with meeting the state's CLCPA goals. And so I know this doesn't help us necessarily in this exact moment, but I wouldn't be surprised if sometime, hopefully in the not too distant future, there are recommendations that there should be, substantial funding to municipalities to do this kind of this type of program, and maybe there'll be funding from the feds too, God willing, that November goes the way any of us who care about the future of the planet hope it goes.
Is that all categories of waste?
To tell you the truth, I dropped off the meeting just as they were starting to dive into the details of it. So I don't know, but sounded good from what they were saying. I would assume so, but just that they're taking it really seriously because they have all these, various kind of advisory groups and panels pertaining to the different aspects of achieving the CLCPA goals, and waste hadn't been one of them, but as of this week, it's going to be. And there was some debate about it, but they're moving ahead.
Ulster very relevant, Ulster County is near finalizing a zero waste plan. Julie, you may be aware of this. So, these are our county legislators, including Laura Petit, including Mana Joe, and a guy named Al, who I haven't met yet, and then a variety of others. And I am somewhat involved in that, and so that's same territory. The same issues and setting goals. Organics is definitely a big part of that, and the county legislature wants to be serious. We want to have a plan. I think the legislature overall is very much in support of it. I think. I haven't heard otherwise.
Okay. Anything else on organics? And a couple updates on some other projects. The EV charging station down at Building Safety has been poured. The foundation has been poured and the conduit has been laid. So the installation of the actual unit will happen shortly. Our Kingston Point ADA compliance project with building the ramp up to the bathroom and modifying the changing rooms is going to start construction until September 8th. So that will be a month long process, and we will be wrapping that river access project up. And the bids for Hasbrook Park Pavilion have gone out, requesting for bids, and also Barman Park fence and vegetation removal. The request for bids has gone out, so those projects will we'll have the bids come in September, and we'll then contract those out. And the other one I wanted to report on was a change in previous reporting about the open space plan. It seems as though there was a missed step by the Common Council in the way that they processed the passing of the open space plan. And so it is not adopted. And so they need to go back and do a public hearing, and then they can adopt it from there. So I am awaiting how that process will work. I haven't been informed yet about how they're going to modify that. So I don't anticipate it will be an issue, but it just means a little bit of a longer process. So those are my updates on sustainability projects as of now. Any updates on Repair Cafe, Melissa or John?
I'm kind of in the same boat. I've been in for 2 months. I don't know what my last update was, but I did send out another follow-up email with the coaches and volunteers, as phase 4 reopened, to see and judge engagement on if people want to have an outdoor event, if people think we should wait, if people maybe want to have like a drop-off service and then the people leave. All that requires so much facilitation. If it's outdoors, you need outdoor electrical equipment. It's weather-based. How would we do it safely? Where's all the sanitizer coming from? There's so many logistics. I only got 2 responses from that. And I think part of it is a lot of the Kingston coaches are a bit older and they just don't use email. So just virtually connecting with them has been such a struggle. I don't know what else to do besides like start cold calling people, and just, I don't know if that would be harassing them, but just giving them phone calls and touching base with how they're doing and what they're interested in, because I will facilitate something. I'll plan the details. I'll figure out what needs to be done. But if I don't have the coaches to do it, then I can't do anything. I thought that Eliza's Kickstarter sounded really great. And if we did have in-person cafes again, I'd love you to maybe come to a Repair Cafe and table on your business and, do some promotion of it, because they kind of go hand in hand. But I don't know when that is going to happen. I don't know if you know more, John, but
Really, the situation across the region is basically the same. I think that the two ideas, number one is open air repair, doing it outdoors, just as you say, and the other one is the drop off. And those have been working in other places around the country. And we certainly have good guidelines, but to me the key is, just as you say, Melissa, is yes, do you have the skilled the repair talent, but also the organization. I mean, I'm not willing, and I'm not willing to do it to do more than 50% of it. And so I need, we need other people who are saying, okay, this is good. What do you need? And basically a team to make it work. And we don't have that yet.
yeah, and it is really such a mixed group, because some people are like, I don't want to do anything until 2021. Some people are like, we can't wait till 2021 because people will forget about Repair Cafe. But it's like you need enough people feeling one way to do something, and yet it's a very mixed consensus.
Yeah,
yeah.
I don't have any concerns about when we are able to do in-person repair events, as we love to do. I don't have any concern about people flocking back to that. There's a pent-up demand, and I see it constantly. And yet there's also caution, and it bears repeating that we're not expecting anyone to do anything that they're not comfortable with. But for those who say, yeah, this can work, I'm good with this, that's the core that we need. And it doesn't, this would be a smaller scale. I think everyone acknowledges it would be a smaller scale event. But the virtual repairs, I've mentioned this before, the virtual repair event have been getting better and better. There is one this Saturday from the Lawrence National Lab in Berkeley. So that's not too shabby. And they're pretty regular. They're quite regular, and I will send to you all link again. It's basically repaircafe.tv. Repaircafe.tv is where there's a comprehensive listing of virtual repair. Combination of put your item in front of the camera, describe what it is, actually register in advance to tell, so that the people who are going to be looking at it know what to look for in advance, and then just workshops. There was a really excellent workshop last month just on the subject of sewing machine repair, and it was so good. The two women who presented it, really had their act together, and so those can be very effective.
Great. Okay, thanks for the update. Anything on outreach or education, Melissa?
I'm not sure where we landed. I know I was in talks with Cal and Maya. I think Cal, I put it into Cal's hands. So what's your update? Throwing you under the bus.
Yeah, no, we're fine. The updated brochure is still in the works, so I'll send out a picture when I have an update.
Great, thank you. And I also heard from Maya, she had said she couldn't make it, but that the Hudson River Maritime Museum is interested in using putting up some climate smart displays, and maybe we can use the brochure language or verbiage or information to put something up there on a more permanent level. So that's a good opportunity. Any updates on the Green Business Challenge, Betta?
No, I don't have an update on the Green Business Challenge, but I have an update on green jobs. Is that next on the agenda? Or did we do away with that?
It can be right now as part of Green Business Challenge.
Okay, I didn't know whether that was a separate item, or I'm not looking at the agenda right now. So are people aware that we launched the Empower Kingston Green Jobs training program? Did we talk about that? I can't remember if I mentioned it on
We
past
did.
meetings.
You mentioned it last month.
And I put
You said
info
you were
about
Gardner
it
an
on our
internship.
Facebook page, a couple of months
Oh,
ago.
great. Wonderful. Thank you. Okay. So, well, it's off to a terrific start. We have 29 applicants, really great applicants. So, I mean, as far as we're concerned, it's already a success because we've proven that there is this real interest from young people in our community, really diverse group, just, extraordinary candidates. And a few of the folks are actually under 18. So we're going to, hold off, but continue to cultivate them and hopefully do this again in the near future. But there's 8 candidates in all. 5 are women, which is also great because we want to diversify the clean energy workforce, including on a gender basis. And we're kicking off on September 8th, which is the day after Labor Day on a Tuesday. Not exactly sure where yet, but that's when we're going to get all the candidates together, do some kind of opening ceremony, and then the candidates will begin their 4-week kind of mini apprenticeship. It's not really an apprenticeship, but it's an internship, but it's getting a taste for all of these different clean energy careers, energy efficiency, solar, heat pumps, et cetera. And the county has been very supportive, and SUNY Ulster and BOCES are also really excited about it. And after this 4-week program is up, hopefully the young people, although there's not an age limit, but most of them are young people, will be able to continue on with one of the contractors in a real internship or, apprenticeship, or continue studying with SUNY Ulster or BOCES. So it's very exciting to see a local green jobs program in Kingston really start to take shape.
That is this city of Kingston or Ulster County? I thought it was the county.
This is actually Citizens for Local Power that's spearheading this effort. And the county's program, the county does have I think they're calling it a Green Jobs Academy, I want to say. And that's basically like subsidizing the, people studying at SUNY Ulster or BOCES, I think BOCES too, to get these kind of micro credentials, and that will help lead to a career. But this has really been spearheaded by CLP, and it's really very exciting.
What are the companies that are providing these opportunities to the kids?
One is Suncommon. Another is Energy Conservation Specialist. Joe McDowell, some of you may know, he does a lot with the city, and he's a real big proponent of mentoring youth and has his own contracting outfit, and a couple of others. So yeah, it's a nice range of contractors, but a lot of the leading local folks, and they're hoping that out of this they'll get some solid, employees, because that's, one of the issues is there's a real need to hire more people in these sectors, well, in particular energy efficiency. So we're hoping to help fill that role with more local people.
Great.
That's about it. That's all I got.
Okay.
So Betta, if there's any social media posts related to this, send them my way.
Absolutely. Will do.
Betta, I have one question. Do you know what capacity they're being trained in?
You mean like what type of stuff they're going to be learning about?
Yeah. Basically what their work is for the 4 weeks, right?
like, doing air sealing and what's involved with installing a heat pump or solar panels,
Okay.
that kind of
Okay.
thing.
So basically in the installation category. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I believe the project that they're working on with Suncommon are going to be exposed to is the Point of Praise expansion. But and every candidate will get, or intern will get, like a tool belt and toolkit and hard hat and shoes, and kind of they'll be outfitted to be a real contender in this sector, which is great. But then they can keep all that stuff going forward.
Great.
Great. Good work.
Yeah, it's exciting. I can't take much credit, but I've played a teeny tiny role, but it's really been nice to see the whole thing evolve, and hopefully we'll keep expanding and growing.
Who else has really been important to making this happen? Susan Gillespie and others?
I would say Susan Gillespie, Jess Clegg, Susie Hernandez has been working quite a bit on it. I would say I'm probably leaving someone out, but and of course the contractors who've been collaborating on it.
Yeah. Good.
Great. Thanks, Bella.
One more thing. When you do the Facebook post, it would be nice to specify the contractors and give them a bit of a shout out,
Oh, for sure. Yes.
Really focus on them. Cool.
Yeah.
Thanks, Betta.
Okay. Any zoning updates, Kevin?
Yes, a brief one. Yeah. Emily Flynn provided more information regarding specifics on urban agriculture zoning text, which I think we're looking at, but I don't think that group has had a meeting during August. It seems like it just went by. I'll find out a bit more tomorrow. I'll be meeting with Greg Shaheen, and we'll discuss this for sure. One thing that people should be aware of that's kind of happening is because the overall zoning project has been put on hold, due to the the COVID and budgeting and all the disastrous issues that we're all beset with. There have been several proposals for piecemeal zoning kicking around. So that's not necessarily the best way to do zoning, to take your existing zoning and sort of like, band-aid it together with something that needs to be done urgently. So just be aware of that, but that's a thing, it's out there. You can look at the laws and rules agendas and you'll see that these things are coming up. And even our urban ag thing is the same type of a thing. We're trying to just sort of band-aid something onto the existing thing that was already determined it needed to be completely overhauled. So it is what it is, and we're moving forward the best we can.
So Kevin, is your sense that there are developers who are taking advantage of this situation?
I wouldn't want to comment on that.
Okay.
Yeah. Draw your own conclusions as to what's happening, but there are proposals out there that are happening. So that's it.
Okay. Thanks, Kevin.
Well, one more thing. Are you at liberty to say if there's one in particular that has drawn your concern?
Well, there's a few out there, and some of them might actually be good proposals. But I would say, there's at least one that I know that has generated some opposition. That would be the one that's on Montrepose. I think there was a group of the neighbors down there that were, this is all like hearsay. I'm not directly involved with those neighbors. So, they've had some issues with the rezoning. And I believe they submitted public comment on that, which should be publicly available. One other project that's come up, and this has come up in the past, is Lawton Park. The developer there he's very much interested in providing some open space components if and when he ever develops this. And there was some discussion there about changing the zoning there to make it easier for him to develop. I think his initial proposal had a rezoning requirement. This was many years ago. And I think what they're doing is taking, switching from single family zoning to multiple family zoning. And whether that would include an affordable housing thing, I think the Lawton Park one, he had discussed that years and years ago when I've spoken to that developer. And my understanding Montrepose may as well. But I think we're sort of getting off track for climate smart, but that's kind of, what it is.
Okay. Thanks, Kevin. Any updates on HeatSmart, John?
Don't bark now, dogs. I had good email communication, thanks to Serena and Kevin, with both the Kingston Land Trust and the Kingston Land Bank. First, to make sure they know about the HeatSmart program, and then really suggesting that this is an opportunity to bring renewable energy into projects that they are involved with. Got a great communication back from Shaniqua Bowden, who is with the Land Trust, basically saying that they really appreciated knowing about this. They do want to be able to work along these lines in the future, but they are not in the role of the developer. Now, Serena's not on the call any longer, but perhaps, Julie, you have something you can add to this. But the Kingston Land Bank is, in fact, has 30 properties or so in their portfolio, which are properties that need to be upgraded, and should be done. That work should be done with every opportunity for renewable energy. So that's the discussion at this point. That the Land Trust is well informed and supportive, but there's nothing that they can act on immediately. But hopefully the Land Bank will be able to. Does that sound right, Kevin?
Yeah, the only thing I would add to that is that when I sort of least expect it, and I'm in the middle of 3 other projects at once, I do get emails or texts from both Julia and Shaniqua to do a review of specific properties for the Land Trust. So I just don't know when they're just going to suddenly come alive. So this definitely is on the agenda. Yeah. Or
so that's
for
great.
when that does happen. Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks, Kevin. So anything you can do to keep it up on the table is much appreciated. This HeatSmart program runs all the way through October. And then I think there'll be a phase 2, which takes it all the way through the end of the year. So we got some time.
Yeah, well, given where we're at right now in terms of the calendar, it sounds like it could be phase 2. But I'll follow up with both Julia and Shaniqua, and I'm sure they'll follow up with me as well.
Yeah, just as a general point to everyone, the incentives for such technologies as heat pumps are just like they're at a high watermark. They are better than they have ever been, and so it's just a window of opportunity that's pretty incredible. And this is nicer to money.
John, I wonder if like Rycor and the others are as slammed as we realtors are in terms of workload and availability and all that. Because maybe Cal, is back to work, Cal? No?
No, I'm still looking.
Oh.
If you need any references, man, you got to let us know. Truly.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
But Karen, to your point, I am about to sign a contract with Rycor to change my home from natural gas to heat pump, and I can certainly recommend them as a company. My experience so far has been really good, and this system is going to cost me half of what it would.
I know, it's very confusing. I have to tell you that it's so confusing. I won't go into the details, but I know Scott Arnold for a long, long time, and he's great. And Rycor has done really great by me and by other people that I know. It's just that, you know, the guy on the corner got it for $7,000 a few years ago, and now you pay $15,000, and oh wow, you get it for $7,000 with all the rebate. It's like, holy cow, what is the truth here? I'm always looking for the truth because I want to do the same thing. I have oil and I want to switch to the heat pump. How's that working out for you, Cal? Is it working out good? You got through the winter? Yeah, good.
Yeah, we used it all through the winter. Didn't really need supplemental heating beyond it. And this summer we've been running it just on dehumidifier, and it's kept the house very comfortable. So we haven't had to use any AC all summer, which is nice because everyone's been home.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah, so the heat pump, you know, is a misnomer. It's heating and cooling. It's all year round.
I know.
Yeah, it pumps the heat in and it pumps the heat out. Wherever the heat needs
Yeah.
to be, it pumps it.
I've been in many houses that have it. It's extremely comfortable. Even, you know, the air feels the same throughout the room, no matter what time of year. It's really nice.
Better, you've got it, right?
Yes, we have air source heat pumps and we have no other heating source. And we're snug as a bug in a rug in the winter. So works great.
I want to join you soon.
Yay, do it.
And Karen, you were asking if the companies are overcommitted. They're busy, but I don't know that they're overcommitted. I think they're, you know, and this gets to the green jobs. You know, they're looking for people. So, Cal, you did such great work for Suncommon. Truly.
Thank you very much. Yeah, they eliminated my whole department because there's no events for us to go to. So it wasn't like a temporary furlough. They laid me off.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. We'll be back somehow.
If you hear of anybody doing something you think I'd be suited for, feel free to send me an email. I have been digging since April. So.
Okay, we can talk offline.
Okay. Thank you, John. Cal, do you have any updates on solar, or does anyone have updates on solar, community solar?
I don't have any updates today.
Anyone else? Okay. Bike ped master plan. There is an update on the bike ped master plan. So there was an internal meeting last week of city staff to go over proposal for moving forward. As with most grants, there is an amount of the grant that is required as a match by the community. And while this was being sought a couple of years ago and agreed upon by the city, it was determined at that time that the hope would be that the council would provide the match or that the city would provide the match. That is not able to be the case in terms of capital. So we had a meeting internally about not only how can we step up and accommodate this plan as a city, but what can we do to take off, what can we do internally that we don't have to kind of use a contractor or consultant for. So it seems like a lot of the initial data collection is going to be happening by volunteers. Once I have more information, I'm going to pass that along because I presume there may be some of you that might be interested in helping. It's things like, you know, bicycle counts, trail mapping, sidewalk inventories, you know, lots of data collection. And Emily Flynn is managing the project. And so I will keep folks up to speed. I'll connect with Maya on this as she was interested for sure, and hopefully we'll know more next month. But I'm happy to know that things are kind of moving along. Jessica's not here, so I don't know if anyone has any update on the New York Energy Stretch Code. Okay, and I don't have an update on the Green Fleet anti-idling policy at this time. That's going to need to be tabled. So John, do you want to talk about the Gardner letter?
Sure, briefly. At our last meeting, I simply made the suggestion that it would be a fine thing for us as a commission to send our, congratulations and support to our colleagues down in the town of Gardner. And so if you saw the letter, I would say the kind of the main point it makes is that Gardner is filling in what you could call an EV charging gap. There was not a good EV charging station close by there, and it's right on the road up to the preserve in Minnewaska. And as you saw in the letter, also the location within the town of Gardner is just very cool. It's right on the rail trail. It's the only EV charging station right on a rail trail in Ulster County, as far as I know. It's right there at the library, and it's right behind Main Street. So it's, as I say, a trifecta. In any case, I think they would appreciate it coming from us. People kind of look up to Kingston. We are silver, man. We are silver. and almost, there are only what, 4? So Ulster County is silver, City of Kingston is silver, and then there are only 2 other climate smarts in the entire state that have reached silver. So there are a whole lot of bronze communities out there that are aspiring to what we have achieved. So it's kind of our big brother role, I guess. Is that the way I should put it? Older brother, encourager, supporter. Anyway, I think they'll like it. I know those folks, so they'll like it.
We're influencers.
We're influencers. That's it. We should all move in together.
Thanks for drafting that up. Does anyone have any comments on it, concerns or questions? Okay, so I will put this on letterhead, and I need you, John, to send me these people's contact information so I can get it to them.
Well, I did put the person, I think the single person to send it to is Jason Meyer, and his email is in there in my email last night. So just send it to him, and he'll get it to everybody else.
Will do. Okay. Thank you. Okay, so moving on to new business, Transportation Climate Initiative. Meta?
Oh boy, this is me. Okay, I feel bad because I think I meant to send some information about this ahead of time, which I failed to do. So do you want me to give a very brief spiel? I can't remember what I've said about it in past meetings.
You said put it on the agenda.
You want me to? Okay, so I'll give you, how about a very brief spiel, and then I'll send the statement of support that I'm hoping the commission will endorse to, Julie, if you want to send it around, or Kevin with the notes, or whatever the follow-up is going to be to this meeting.
Okay.
So, okay. Are people familiar with RGGI, the Regional Greenhouse Gas Initiative? Somewhat. Okay. It's basically like a cap and invest program where if you're not that familiar with RGGI, forget that I said that, but that's basically a interstate program. There's a number of states that participate in RGGI where they agree to cap pollution coming from power plants and make polluters pay to then invest money into states' clean energy funds. And that funds a lot of the programs that we're all talking about, related to heat pumps and everything else. And that's the power sector, right? So now there's the possibility that we could have a similar cap and invest program in the transportation sector, which many of you probably know that that sector is the largest source of greenhouse gas emissions in New York State, and there's no real plan to address it yet. There's a lot of things we could do, but you know, a big issue is raising money to electrify that sector. And TCI, the Transportation and Climate Initiative, is one way to do it, because it would basically put a fee on fuel importers, so wholesale fuel importers, and that would raise potentially $1 billion to $1.5 billion every year for New York State to then invest in clean transportation solutions. So it's not a small amount of money, and that would be for the next 10 years. So it's, you know, it's pretty exciting, and all these other states, you know, from DC, not that DC is a state, but Maryland, all the way up, you know, to Maine, are talking about joining this, and all of the states are going to enter into an MOU by the end of the year. But New York so far has been sort of on the fence, surprisingly, not like leading out front on this. So there's a kind of growing campaign to push for New York State joining this, because really, if New York State doesn't join it, it's not going to be successful, because New York is the biggest player in our region. So I have a statement of support that I can share with you all, but that's, you know, kind of very high level where we're at with it, and hoping to launch this new campaign and educational push by the end of September, and then, you know, really need to put some pressure in the next couple of months on Governor Cuomo, because this MOU is going to be signed by the states by the end of the year. So it doesn't really leave us much time. And kind of another like piece of all of this, besides just getting organizations, commissions like ours, businesses, we also want to get elected officials to make statements about the clean transportation solutions that they want to see. So like if our mayor wanted to have a statement about, you know, the city of Kingston needs such and such amount of money to invest, you know, in our complete streets program, for instance, that would be really a great thing, because then we're populating a map on our website that we're creating to show where all these different transportation investments are needed across New York State. And we want to have voices of like grassroots leaders, elected officials, other businesses, and to really kind of build this momentum showing where this investment is needed. So I don't know if it's somewhat of a complicated policy. I tried to keep it brief, but if that sounds like something that maybe the commission would be interested in, you know, endorsing, I can, or if any other, you know, organization or business that you're affiliated with might be interested, I can send the statement of support around, and we can discuss it at the next meeting or via email, whatever you think makes sense, Julie.
Well, what does the rest of what does the commission think?
Better, you were going to send us some information, so I guess that would be the thing to do. I mean, that was a good description. New Yorkers for Clean Power is very involved, I gather.
Yes, very involved. I'm a big proponent of this. I think $1 billion to invest in clean transportation a year would be a very positive step, especially when we're facing the kind of, you know, budget deficits that we are. And also it's exciting that it would put a cap on emissions, which a carbon tax, you know, there's a lot of talk about like carbon tax versus cap and invest. I mean, I support like anything but the kitchen sink as far as addressing, you know, climate emissions, greenhouse gas emissions, but climate pollution rather. But what's exciting about this is that there is a cap on the greenhouse gas emissions as well. So there's a lot of positives. there's a lot of concerns about it too, but we don't really have time to get into it probably right now. But I'm happy to talk offline. I can also send, I'll also send around the FAQ sheet. And then if people have other questions or issues, or you want to find a time to talk to me, you know, I'm happy to do that.
The FAQ sheet would be really helpful. Thank you.
Sure thing.
So what action, if any, would the commission like to take? Do you want to wait to review more information from Betta and talk about it next month? Do you want to make a proposal now and do something in the meantime? Do you want to not take any action?
I would ask for Betta to send us that information and have it on our agenda for next meeting.
Anyone else? Cal agrees?
Yeah, Betta, does that work for you? Is there a stricter timeline?
Yeah. No, that's fine.
Okay,
I mean, I think, you know, we were kind of aiming for the third week of September because that's Climate Week NYC, and we're having an event on virtual, of course, this year, but on transportation on the 22nd. And then the following week is Drive Electric Week. And so we were kind of like hoping to tie, you know, not that the GCI investments wouldn't just be limited to electrification. I just want to make that clear. I mean, that's kind of my primary interest, but it's all clean transportation solutions that includes, you know, mass transit and complete streets, and even maybe like rural broadband, because that keeps people, you know, from driving really long distances to get to work. And so anyway, yeah, the timing is, I think probably we're not going to end up launching it till the last week of September. So if our meeting is the 23rd, I believe, right? Is that when our next meeting is? Then that should be fine. And it's not like once we launch, we're going to be continuing also to recruit people and hopefully build some momentum for it. But it's always nice to have a lot of groups right out of the gate.
So in order to have anything out of the commission by September 23rd, we would need to see a draft of something to approve on the 23rd, not just seeing information to then talk about doing something on the 23rd.
Right. So people would need to look at the statement of support that I send around and be prepared to decide about it, or if there are concerns, like email me and then we can address them before the meeting.
Yes.
Okay.
Is that the timeline that is that the action everyone wants to take? Is anyone opposed to that action? Okay, so Betta, you're gonna get on sending that around soon, so people can review it and then get comments back to Betta so that we can you can all look at something on the 23rd that will be decided on, yay or nay, on the 23rd?
Yeah.
Excellent, thank you. Anything else on that? Okay, announcements, communications, events, and updates. Serena dropped off. She said that she has really bad network connection, so she's not able to stay on. So I don't have any update from public safety. Betta or Cal, do you have an update from the Ulster County Climate Smart Committee?
Ulster County postponed their monthly meeting until next week. So no new meetings since our last Kingston meeting.
Thank you. Are there any other announcements, communications, events, or updates?
That's on September 3rd, right, Cal?
Yeah, it's on a Thursday?
Yeah, it's a weird night, I know.
I don't know why.
There should really be.
It should have just been a different Monday or kept it, but yep, it's on a Thursday. No other announcements from me.
Sure.
Cal, did you say you have another announcement? Is that what you said? No, no other announcements. Okay. Anything else from anyone else? Announcements or updates? Social media postings. If you have anything, please get them to John so that we can get up and.
Betta, I'm looking at CLP's Instagram page, and they've done a grand total of 2 posts, and the most recent was about the Green Jobs Apprenticeship. It was on July 29th. So, and that was calling for application. So I would
John,
Mhm.
something that is announcing the launch of the program.
I was gonna say, Manager sent out an email with a couple of different links about training, either through like one of the sustainable masters programs locally and one of the but also the Citizens for Local Power initiative, I believe. So I just forwarded that to you, John.
Okay.
I think that's one of the programs that she talked about was the same one that we were talking about earlier.
Do we want to plug the virtual Fix It events and reach out to the community and just say, like, you know, we know I've been called like 3 times over the pandemic of just like, when are you guys going to open back up? You know, just to say these options are available.
Yeah, no, it's true. I have not posted anything recently on our Climate Smart Kingston Facebook page. You know, it gets so little attention, but I can certainly do that. I will. Good. Thanks, Melissa. I will post again about the virtual repair events because they're
Okay.
good.
That website you said .tv, what was it? You can see all of the.
Yeah, repaircafe.tv.
Okay, yeah.
Simpler, repaircafe.tv. It's actually the repair cafes in North Carolina who have created that page.
Cool.
Maintaining it. North Carolina.
What? Oh, sorry. One thing that is happening, I don't know if people would be interested, but if people want to jump on a meeting right after this at 6:30, there's a CCA presentation that Brad Tito is giving to the Ulster County Environmental Management Council. So I don't know if people are interested in that, but I have the info here. I could put it in the chat if you are. But, you know, it seems like it would be great if someone could join, just especially since Kingston is hopefully going to be moving forward with CCA. Okay, hopefully you got that, but I personally won't be able to join. But if anybody can stay on,
Love those back Zoom, man.
Thanks for sharing. Cal?
I know we mentioned it earlier. I can't remember who is bottom lining community choice aggregation exploration for Kingston.
Meaning?
Who is the point person? Do we have it as this person is updating us about this? This person, like, is anybody doing that for
Julie?
CCA? Yeah. Oh, you are. Okay. I didn't know if it was something you needed to do as a committee or whether it was something you were doing yourself as one of your many projects. Okay.
It's happening.
Awesome. Sweet. I'm sorry.
Okay.
But to your point, Cal, we should, I think, be more, in discussion, right? And playing, hopefully, a supportive role and working on it with you, Julie, when the time is right, because it's going to take a lot of momentum building, right, to get the public on board and make it happen and make it successful and all of that. So.
And don't worry, when we are at that time, which will be shortly, I will not be hesitant to reach out for those of you to help.
That's good. Well, in this case, we are getting on the train that is already, well underway. Many other communities.
Yes. Okay, anything else? Am I going to be able to have quorum on September 23rd? Is there anyone that is not able to make it?
The 23rd, right?
3rd at 5. Okay. Betty, did you have something else? I'm assuming that's a yes from everyone. If we can't make it, let me know as soon as possible. Betty, did you have something else?
Well, I had some personal news that does relate to our work. I was appointed to the Power Generation Advisory Panel of the Climate Action Council. So I'm going to be immersed in that whole process, and it should be interesting, and hopefully be able to keep all of you in the loop and Kingston connected to what's happening at the state level.
Mm-hmm. So that's a
So
New York State deal.
Sorry, John, I didn't catch that.
That is New York State level.
Yeah, the Climate Action Council that was created to basically come up with this whole, implementation plan for how we're going to achieve the goals codified in the CLCPA. And it's just a huge undertaking. And actually, they're hiring an executive director. If you know anyone who, you need like 10 years experience, or I'd send it your way, Cal, but they are hiring a great someone, great to like oversee this whole process, because it's going to be an unbelievable undertaking. But one of the components is like, there's all these different like working groups and advisory panels. Like I mentioned before, there's a waste one now, which is great. And so I was nominated to the power generation one. So should be interesting.
Congratulations.
I'm very honored to be nominated. Thank you.
Yeah, congratulations.
Yes, thank you.
Is this
I
the
guess they
same
want
or?
someone
Oh, sorry.
who's like more on the ground or something. So,
Okay.
sorry, what, Cal?
No, is this the same or different than the regional renewable energy implementation plan? Like, is it that but with a better name, or is it a separate process?
It's a separate process.
Because it's statewide rather than regional.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
it's very
Thank you.
interesting because like there's
Wow.
so much. I mean, there's like the Kingston Climate Action Plan. There's the counties. There's the regional one Cal just mentioned. There's the state one. I mean, there's like so much happening. It's really enough to make your head spin. But it's very exciting. It's all, hopefully we're all gonna make this happen.
Yeah.
So anyway, stay tuned. I feel funny, but I just thought I'd share it with you all, since
We're
it's
happy
like
for
a
you.
similar body of this, but more at the state level, so I can keep you all in the loop of what's happening.
I was totally a need to know.
Thank you, Betta. Congrats. Anything else?
Thank you.
No, I'm going to have to run to the Heritage Commission. I think Suzanne Cahill's looking for me.
Okay, so do we have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
John, can we have a second?
Second?
Betta, all in favor?
Yeah.
Okay, 6:31.
Bye.
Thank you very much, everyone. I'm gonna stop
See
recording.
everybody.
Okay.